Now think about this. Everything coming from these pro-black dudes is about race. Everything. They don't say, look, anything they say, if it's about economics, they tie race to it. If it's about education, they tie race to it. If it's about history, they tie race to it. If it's about social interactions, they tie race to it. Marriage, race to it. Hanging out at the park, race to it. Reading a book, race to it. He said, Dr. Fuller said that the job of racist man and racist woman is to get every non-white person to labor in support of the establishment, maintenance, expansion, and or refinement of racism. Is this not what Dr. Boyce Watkins does? Is this not what Minister Louis Farrakhan does? Is this not what Nuri Muhammad, Riza Islam, Dr. Wesley Muhammad? Is this not what your Hebrew Israelites? Is this not what your Moore Science Temple of America brothers? Is this not what your Pan-Africanists? Is this not what they all do? Even the political brothers, if they conservative, they make conservatism all about race. Is this not what red pill channels do? Is this not what channels with the black female channels that talk about black men? It's always black people, black men. The black men channels, always black women, black men. We are all working. We are all laboring. Y'all ain't hear me. Y'all ain't hear me. We are all laboring to support the establishment, to maintain it, to expand it, and if necessary, refine racism. Everything I'm about to say, you already know it to be true. You are a slave. You are a slave to money, to social economics, to status, to politics, to ideology. You have sold your soul to have a place in a world order that you should naturally oppose. Whoa now, whoa now, whoa now. Welcome back to the Black Elf and your boy, Brother Kush. Now today I'm going to read something else from Dr. Neely Fuller Jr., something that he wrote in the compensatory code book, right? But before we go further, let's do it properly. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. If you've been here multiple times and have not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Be sure to hit that bell icon also, because YouTube will not notify you when I drop more videos. I just don't trigger the algorithm like that. Also, if you want to help the channel out, you know what I'm saying? You got Cash App, $, the Black Alpha, you got Venmo at the Black Alpha, and you got PayPal at realblackalpha@gmail.com. Okay, this is the quote out of the compensatory code book that I want to deal with. I want to expound on this part right here today. You see it on the screen. It says, racist man and racist woman, interesting words. White supremacists collectively. But he's not talking about just white people. Understand that now. I'm going to get to that later. But I don't want your mind, I want you to start getting outside of these boxes. Stop, as soon as you hear certain things, you think of a race. He's not specifying race here. He's just telling you racist man, racist woman. So let me continue, right? He said that racist man, racist woman, white supremacists collectively are superior workers among the people of the known universe. They do more work than anyone else. But he's not talking about just work. This section was called labor. Let me continue. The work of racist man and racist woman is to establish, maintain, expand, and or refine the practice of white supremacy. What did he say the practice of white supremacy is? Belonging to a race. That's the practice. The practice of white supremacy is belonging to a race. So if you see yourself solely as just a black person, I'm a black man, that's all I am, then you are practicing racism. And you are thereby practicing white supremacy. Because the white man created this construct of race as a box to put you in and put them in. He created it for his benefit. And the only way it works if everybody stays in their boxes. Because if you start talking about we are all just human beings, you mess that box up. You start tearing the box down, right? And he can't have that. He needs everybody to stay in their box. That's the only way it works. Let me continue, right? He said they use deceit, direct violence, and or the threat of violence as a way of getting non-white people to labor. Notice now, he's not talking about jobs. He said to labor. Oh man, this man work is it's concise. In support of the establishment, maintenance, expansion, and or refinement of racism. Let me read that again so I don't jumble it all up. It said that the work of racist man and racist woman is to establish, maintain, expand, and or refine the practice of racism, i.e. white supremacy. They use deceit, direct violence, and or the threat of violence as a way of getting non-white people to labor. So what is the labor that they're doing? The labor that they are doing is expanding, supporting, establishing, and maintaining, refining white supremacy, racism. That's what it is. I'm going to say it again. I got to say it again because I know I jumped on it. I didn't do it right. I'm going to say it again so it's clear because I'm about to go somewhere with this. Before I go there, I need you on the same page so when I take you there, you can get it. He said that they use deceit, direct violence, and or the threat of violence as a way of getting non-white people to labor. Interesting words. He's not talking about a job. To labor in support of the establishment, maintenance, expansion, and or refinement of racism. So the workers, the racist man and racist woman job is to make sure they get non-white people to partake in their system of white supremacy, which is built upon racism. Now think about this. I never heard some of the madness that come out the mouth of Dr. Umar Johnson when I was coming up. And the dude ain't that much younger than me. He's only a few years younger than me. I mean, we from a different generation. We old enough. We have enough of a gap to be from a sort of a different generation. But he still could be my little brother. I never heard most of the crap that come out of his mouth. The excuses that he gives. He has refined racism, people. Rizza Islam, he has refined racism. Minister Louis Farrakhan, he has maintained it. The reason why our community is so broken right now, because we helped set up the paradigm of race within the black community. We didn't need that. All we lived around was black people. See, I grew up in a basically homogeneous environment. Like I said, we didn't go to school with white folks. We didn't have them around us. We didn't see them. Hell, I didn't know they existed. And we were fine. They wasn't even a topic on our mind. But they became a topic through the educated Negroes and the pro-black Negroes. Shove white down our throat. White this, white that, white this, white that, race this, black this, black. We are not around nothing but black people. What we need to talk about black people for? And then we start nitpicking. Everything black people do is wrong. We need to be more like them. We need to be and in the Nation of Islam got the same. You know, study the white man. He makes no excuses for his shortcomings. All he do is bitch and moan about his shortcomings. What the hell are you talking about? We have all been steadily laboring to establish racism within our community, despite it being homogeneous and we didn't need any other race in there. All we had was us. But all we talk about is white society. Why are we so focused on what they do? And our ideas of what white people do comes from television. It comes from the media. Because they don't live the way we think they live. They don't have what we think they have. But every time I go down this rabbit hole, I talk about Max Egan. He's this Australian anti-government, I guess, sort of an anarchist. I don't want to put him in a box, right? But you can look him up yourself. And all he knows is that everything that establishment tell you is a lie. Max Egan heard about Dane Calloway. Again, a white man heard about Dane Calloway, and Dane Calloway saying that black people were already over here when Europeans arrived. And you know what Max Egan said? He believed it. He said because they tell everything in reverse. If they say that they brought y'all from Africa, then more than likely they brought most of y'all from America to Africa, which is how Liberia got established, by the way, which is how you get a lot of brothers up there in Europe and stuff, in France and England, everything. They got relatives over here in the Americas because they actually come from here. Just like Marcus Garvey went to school in Europe. But Max Egan did not argue with Dane Calloway. But you know who do oppose Dane Calloway? Your pro-blacks, your educated Negroes. So they are laboring to keep us in the box. The box has to be whatever white folks say it is. Shall I say white supremacy say it is. And their jobs is to keep us, they are shepherds for the white folks. Understand that. All your pro-black leaders, they are shepherds for white folks. I remember arguing one time, this was a couple of years ago, right? With some old religious ass Hebrew Israelite person, you know. They were talking about how we are all Hebrews, you know, we the original Jews, blah, 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 blah. I said, well, you know, you're not wrong. I said, but we are more than just that. When you say that we are just Hebrews, you are discounting all of our other cultures. You're discounting Sumer. You're discounting Nubia, which is Kush, by the way, my namesake. You're discounting the Kong Empire. You're discounting the Empire of Mali. All that's in Africa, and the Moors. Then over here, you're discounting the indigenous Black Americans, who are the oldest people, direct descendants of the Lumerians. You are discounting all of that when you say, or dismissing, shall I say dismissing? That's a better word. You're dismissing all of that when you said we are just Jews. This chick got mad at me. I said, we are Asiatic people. She didn't even understand that. Said, we not from Asia. I said, well, technically, the continent mass, when it was all one, that area where we are all in America and North Africa was called Laurasia. We are Lumerians over here. We are Asiatic people. Yes, we are. She argued down with me, got mad at me, want to be African, but the place that she's claiming that we come from is not even in Africa. I don't have a problem with that. Sumer wasn't in Africa. Ancient Babylon wasn't in Africa. I don't have a problem with that because I understand that we are a global people. I'm not the one in the box of racism. You see what I'm saying? So this chick kept going on and on. Now she got other Hebrew Israelites chiming in. They all ganging up on me. I said, man, you know the sad thing is, all you Negroes just want to be Jews because that's important to white folks. That's really what this is about. You want to be a Jew because the Jew is important to white folks. The status of calling yourself Jew is something that's important to white folks. That's what this is about. This isn't about nothing else. You want to be whatever they are. That's what it's about. You're still competing with them. You want to be Muslim, Mr. Sunni Muslim. You want to worship the Arab and the Middle Eastern, dismissing the fact that Arabic is an Afro-Asiatic language. It is our language. And it's only one like that. Hebrew is too. And all of those similar languages spoken all throughout Africa. Swahili, which you pro-black brothers like to always talk about. It was written in the same language as Africa. As Arabic. It had the same script at one time until the Europeans changed it. In fact, Swahili, which is a cousin of Arabic, which is also an Afro-Asiatic language, it used to be more the territorial language of Africa. It was the language that everybody used. It's how they all communicated. Now Arabic sort of is. Most of y'all don't even know that, man, probably less than 10%, 10% of so-called Middle Eastern Muslims speak Arabic. That's not their language. 90 to 95% of native Arabic speakers are in Africa. And y'all believe they speak Arabic that much because some Arab from somewhere else enslaved all these blacks and got all them speaking Arabic. But you disregard the fact that we have many languages that are cousins to Arabic. They have none. They have none. They adopted some of our writing for some of their language, but them languages are Hindu, Indo-European languages. They are not the same as Afro-Asiatic languages. Y'all are all competing with white folks to fit in their box. And if you can't get in their box, you try to get in the next best thing, which is create a box and keep your people in it. That's what you do. So you are basically laboring to keep us in the box of racism. I know I'm a little hyped, but I'm loving Dr. Neely Fuller Jr., bro. Man, I'm so glad I found this stuff, bro. Again, I want to give a shout out to On the Shoulders of Giants, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm so glad I found this stuff, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think a lot of y'all understand what this man was saying. He's over your head. First of all, he's challenging you directly. He's making you look at your own actions, because it's clear that he's talking about all of y'all when he talk about racist man, racist woman. He's talking about all of y'all. I got a real story. Educated sister with dreadlocks, a very popular pro-black woman in New Orleans. This is after Hurricane Katrina. I'm back attempting to do something to help people rebuild their homes. Now that's a story in and of itself, right? Because the government corruption on that is just, whoo! That's a story in and of itself. So I'm passing out flyers, right, for my company. And I got a diverse flyer. I got all kinds of people on the flyer. This sister comes up, right? She sees me passing out flyers. She's getting out of a car. She has a whole food bag in her hand. I remember this shit like it's yesterday. And she started grilling me about, is my company black owned? I'm like, what difference does it make? Did you buy that car? That car's a damn Toyota. That's not black owned. You got a Whole Foods bag in your hand. That store's not black owned. Why, for you to deal with me, my store has to be black owned? Because she is practicing racism. Let me go back to this here. What did he say their job is? The second paragraph, people. He said that their job is they use deceit, direct violence, and or threat of violence as a way of getting non-white people to labor in support of the establishment, maintenance, expansion, and or refinement of racism. That's what the sister was doing. She was doing her role to establish and maintain, support, expand, and refine racism. Because all of a sudden, my business need to be black owned for her to deal with me. But if I was a white boy, she'd have took my flyer and said, okay, I'm going to call you if I need you. That's all it would have been. And she'd have called him. That's all it would have been. That's all it would have been. That's it. You know it. I know it. I got another example of another sister, another popular. I mean, these are big figures in the so-called pro-black scene in New Orleans. Another long dreadlocks. I go give her a flyer. Now, at this moment, I have an organization that I funded to help needy families out inside the city. I funded almost $40,000 out my pocket. Me and my polygynous family, my wives. Now, you know my polygynous family was mixed. It wasn't just black women. So we are handing out flyers, and this sister see my white women handing out flyers with the black women, you know what I'm saying? And she don't want to take the flyer from one of the white women. Just disrespectful, bro. So I go over and say, well, what's the problem? You can't take a flyer from a woman? Nah, I'm dealing with the white folks. Like, I mean, what kind of stuff you doing with all these white people? And, you know, I mean, just like had a nasty attitude with me. So I told my girls, man, you know, fuck her. We kept moving. And I tell you no lie, I mean, if I'm lying, man, may Allah just drop a boulder on my head. It was like maybe a week or two later. It wasn't that much later because she was still branded in my head, right? So it was like a week maybe later, if a whole week. Back then, City Park used to do these little weird-ass concerts, right, where they bring in all kinds of folk musicians from, like, Europe, small towns in Europe, small countries rather than Europe, right? And on this day, I think they had some kind of Celtic or something tick type of people playing all kinds of weird-ass instruments, right, in the park. But you know, I'm a musician. I played several instruments coming up through school, so I like music of all kinds. Music is music to me. If it don't sound good, it's one thing. But music is music. So I rolled up there. I'm by myself because my girls don't like all this weird shit, but I'm weird, right? I got a little strange vibe in me, right? So I bring my weird ass up there to City Park to listen to all this little cracker ass shit. I know it's some white shit. My girls didn't want to hear it. The white girls didn't want to hear it. But I bring my ass up there. I'm going to listen to it because I like music. And lo and behold, I see this dreadlock wearing pro-black bitch there with 2 white women. Cue me now, love. 2 white women. And they were clearly together by the way they were interacting. Kikiing and touching and laughing. So I actually walked up so she can see me. I wanted her to see me seeing her. And I looked at her. And I looked at the white women she was with. And I shook my head and walked off. She never had a problem with white women. She had a problem with white women being with a black man. That was her problem. Because she is laboring to maintain this system. And the system itself is anti-black man. That is the heart of racism. If all of this stuff was a body, the heart of it would be to hate and reject and hold down the black man. That is the heart of it. And that's why our relationships with black women are not going to change no time soon. I tell y'all all the time, I don't hate my sisters for the way they are because I understand that they are under a spell. But they are under a spell nonetheless. And you have to understand that so that you can move to protect yourself. They are not going to change. You could talk all the pro-black stuff you want to talk. They are not going to change because they are unaware of how they are. But the leaders of the black women are aware of how they are. See, again, Boyce Watkins knows that he's lying to you with this financial thing under the name of pro-blackness. He knows he's lying to you. Reza Islam, Dr. Wesley Muhammad, Minister Farrakhan, anything they tell you that's supposed to help you out, they know it's not going to help you when they say it. They have never given us anything viable. Minister Farrakhan has been doing this stuff like 40 years. He has never given us anything viable. And not just him, Jesse Jackson, who call y'all African Americans. That's why we call ourselves that right now, because of the Rainbow Coalition back then, right? I mean, nothing viable. Leader after leader, generation after generation, these pro-black Negroes that are our mouthpieces, that are our ambassadors, they have never done anything but maintained us in a certain position. That's all they've done. Served as shepherds for these people. They're like the little shepherd dogs. They herd us together and keep us in that pile, in that box. That is their job. I'm here to tell you to get out of that box. Y'all ain't hear me. Y'all ain't hear me. I ain't finished either, but I'm gonna stop. I ain't finished. I'm telling you, man, I can go so hard off of Dr. Fuller because I understand exactly what he was saying. Because these are the conclusions I've reached on my own. I can build and expound off this and give example upon example upon example upon. I could do this all day because I've been doing it already for like 15 years. I've been watching it all. So when y'all try to browbeat me about my dating preferences or whatever, as if I have a preference based on race, I get tired of telling y'all, man, the fact that a girl is not white or black or whatever, that's irrelevant to me. That's secondary to whether or not I can deal with her. And y'all don't hear that because you are under the mindset of white supremacy, which is racism. You are functioning as a member of a race, like that's a group, like that's a gang or something. You know, you're a Crip, you can't hang with a blood, you know what I'm saying? You're functioning like that. And I am not. So when I say all I'm looking for is a woman I can deal with, you hear non-black woman. Why? Why is that the first thing? And even worse, you hear white woman. But why is that what you leap to when that's not ever what I say? Why do you go there? You go there because you recognize that we have a problem with black women. And you know that the chances of me finding a black woman that fit my criteria is slim. But is that my problem? No, that's not my problem. I'm gonna continue to live my damn life. But I drifted off. I digress. That's neither here nor there. I'm gonna get back to what I was saying. I'm loving this stuff because I can build off it all day. I can flow with it all kinds of ways, as you see. I can make example upon example because I have examples. I've been doing this stuff for a very long time. And again, thanks to the brother who corrected me on Dr. Neely Fuller Jr.'s publishing date and his educational status, but it doesn't matter. This is not a fan club. I already know what he said. I discovered this on my own. And now that I have his words, because I do like the way he put it though. Racist man, racist woman, labor, slick. Labor. See, you thinking the job. No, he never said a job. He said labor. Look up what the word labor means. Oh man. Dr. Great-grand elder, Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. was a beast with it. But I still cannot fully co-sign it because I don't know what his motives were. On that note, I'm going to stop right here because I've been going too long. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Till next time, I'm out of here. I'm Brother Kush, a.k.a. the Black Alpha. Masalam.